What's up, guys? Welcome to this episode of Beers and Breakdowns. In this episode, we're doing the start of a show that you guys have been asking for a long time. Band of Brothers.
It's a good thing I'm here for this one.
Yeah, sorry Kurt is not here for this episode.
I'm going to do it all kinds of justice.
You guys get hella pissed when Kurt's not here. Just so you know, Kurt has an entire store to run. He's got a mentor program to run. If you don't know, Kurt is a partner. He's a CEO in this company, so he can't just always be here to drink with the other two idiot owners of this company.
That's true, but if you guys like, subscribe, check out the store, kind of see what we got going on, it's going to help you. We can afford to fly Kurt here.
That's very true.
A moment's notice. The problem is that he lives in Tallahassee, and to get him here from that side of the country,
for some reason, Tallahassee.
I don't know if it's that specific airport. Somebody let us know. It costs a lot of money. Dude. Otherwise, he'd be here for every single one of these, no question. But
it's insane how much it costs to fly out of Tallahassee. I want him to just move to Texas like a normal human being, like a good, right-wing American, and live with me in Texas, so that way it'd be a lot easier. But right now he's in Florida, and anyway, it is what it is. But just so you guys know, we have a lot going on outside of just filming Beers and Breakdowns, having some drinks, and having fun. We have products dropping like crazy. We're in the development of multiple products. The Ruck Trainer is going to launch in March. It's amazing. We've done so much research and development for that product. It's insane. We got the carrying handle coming out for it. We have a padded waist belt to avoid the chafing. That's coming out for that. We have the safety kit that attaches to a molly panel, which then attaches to the Ruck Trainer. We also have AR670-1 approved combat boots that are going to be coming out with a wide toe box, zero drop, and super cush EVA foam for long rucks to avoid having your feet just get completely jacked up on these ridiculously long rucks. So make sure you go check us out at the FNGacademy.com. Check out the mentor program. We have multiple tiers. If you are trying to achieve your goals, we're here to help you through our mentor program, where you can get one-on-one coaching with Green Berets, group setting, or if you just want to support the channel, you sign up for tier 3 and get exclusive content, which includes unedited version of these episodes. YouTube is cracking down on us, so we have to edit all the curse words out, or at least most of them, because they demonetize us. But we put the unedited versions up on the paid channel, so if you want to pay $25 a month to get access to that and some exclusive content, please do, and it helps fund everything that we put back into this company to help you guys out. So just know, nobody is doing more to help you guys get selected, and we thank you. Please hit like and subscribe and comment down below as to what movie you guys want to see next. Last thing I'm going to say on my soapbox is we have a new designer for swag, and he's doing some great stuff. So let us know what kind of Beers and Breakdowns shirts you guys want to see, or what kind of Beers and Breakdowns swag specific you want to see, so we can get it to Kyle and he can start working on it.
This one right there, it's an awesome hoodie. If you guys like it,
go check it out at FNGacademy.com. But now's your chance to have input as to what the swag is going to look like. Whether you want to see hoodies, whether you want to see hats, different styles, different quotes from Beers and Breakdowns. What do you guys want to see on those hoodies? Go check it out. Comment. All right, so let's jump into Band of Brothers episode 1. We'll break it up, and just like the other series that you guys really like, we'll just do it by episode because there's so much per episode. It's a full Beers and Breakdowns per episode, and we don't want to sell it short by just doing one. So
I'm ready.
Let's jump in.
Put me in, coach.
That's what had to be done.
I said, well, you jump out of airplanes. You got all your Army equipment, and you jump out of airplanes to fight the enemy. They said, go to hell. Nobody put up their hand. And then I don't know what it was, brought it up, but the guy giving the speech was saying, but you get paid $50 a month more. So that made it $100.
That is the best intro of like anything ever. Having the old time vets talk about why they signed up. I love that. Like, that brought tears to my eyes. But this guy's saying, he's like airborne. You want to go airborne? He's like, what the fuck is that? You can jump out of planes. He's like, nah. And then he goes, you get paid more. And they're like, wait a minute, what? How much? And they're like, $50 more. Like, all right, yeah, let's do it. That's it. Like, if everyone is driven by money in the Army, it's like, how much you gonna pay me, dude?
Right.
And the Army's like, they do it for special forces. Like, oh, for language pay, you get paid an extra $100 or whatever. For combat pay, you get paid extra. For this pay, airborne pay is 100. Free fall pay is an extra 100. So it starts to add up. But at the same time, it's like, for all you guys that haven't signed up yet, know if the Army's paying you more, it's for a reason. And if they're giving you $100, they're taking years off your life for that $100 a month. So don't ever doubt that if you're getting paid more, they're taking it out of your ass. Yeah. You're probably going to have knee pain for the rest of your life, back pain for the rest of your life, and their compensation to you is an extra $150 a month for airborne pay. So just keep that in mind. You go to your recruiter like this guy was, and if this recruiter says, but you get paid more, it's for a damn good reason. Anytime they offer to pay you more, you need to start looking over your shoulder and wondering what the catch is, because they're going to take that out of your...
I get that first comment, though. Anytime you watch like an old timer that was actually there retelling stories, I don't know if it's because they're older now and they can reflect more.
Yeah.
It's just so powerful to see them tell
amazing.
Stories. It's crazy, man. Like, you're watching it. Obviously I have no affiliation with the military, but just to watch it as a viewer of a movie or any type of a segment, you feel it because they have a way of just conveying it.
I think
better.
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of their experiences as human beings and going through combat, but also now their age and wisdom. Mm-hmm. And then reapplying that wisdom to what they've been through. So me explaining what I went through in combat now is kind of like with some bravado, with some pride. It's going to be different than me when I'm 70, if I make it to be 70. You know, how I'm going to view life and how war impacted me in the long term, and to be able to look back on it and say, this is what really mattered. This is what I thought mattered at the time. This is what I thought mattered shortly after. But now that my life is nearing its end, this is what life is truly about. I saw a YouTube video once, and it was like, your biggest regrets for seniors. And this guy just went around asking like 80-plus-year-old people, like, what do you regret most in your life? And it was almost hard to watch, because it was like all things that we do now. It's like, I wish I didn't take myself so seriously. I wish I spent more time with my loved ones. I wish I just let everything roll off my back, because it took, coming to the end of your life to realize that 90% of the doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. And that all the things that we stress about is completely irrelevant. And to hear that from someone in their 70s and 80s is one thing, but to hear that from a war veteran in the 70s and 80s, it's so impactful.
No, yeah. Agreed.
What's up, guys? This video is sponsored by 18 Alpha Fitness. If you haven't checked it out, and if you want to go special operations, you need a good fitness plan. Go check out Kevin over at 18 Alpha Fitness. He's a former Green Beret. He knows what he's doing. His post job from the military, from Special Forces, was helping Air Force Special Operations get physically fit. This guy is on point, and he's a great dude. He could do custom plans and just a common plan that I use, which is awesome, the kettlebell program. But I highly recommend you get a custom plan. Use code word BUCK and he'll hook you up.
The Channel Coast is socked in with rain and fog. High winds on the drop zone. No jump tonight. The evasion has been postponed. We're on a 24-hour stand down. Team sergeants, take charge.
Well, this is quite a surprise.
Not particularly. It so happens I rather expected it.
Well, I can't see.
So I just thought this was a cool scene, because like they know they're about to go in and risk everything. They're probably going to die. Mm-hmm. It's like...
You have some experience with that, right?
Yeah. I've been there. We had one invasion where like we were going into a certain valley against ISIS, and intel reports kept coming in that this was the worst case scenario. They're like, there's Dishka positions set up in multiple locations. They know we're coming. There's, at one point intel will come in and there's 500 fighters, and then it would come in and there's 600 fighters, and they're all waiting for us. So basically we're going to our deaths.
Right.
And, Tom was there, like our whole team. It's just like, there was multiple teams going into this valley, and we're like, we're dead. We're going to die. And this is it. So the anticipation is the worst part, because once you're in it, your training takes over and you can actually do something about it. I could maneuver better. I could communicate better. I could shoot straighter. I could aim. I could use my training to try and stay alive. But the lead up to it, there's literally nothing you could do, and you're just waiting and thinking about how it's going to be and what it's going to feel like, and it sucks. So when these guys get called up and it's like, hey, you know, invasion's postponed, you think they would be happy because
I was going to say that. Yeah, I feel like they would be relieved. Oh, I get another day without possibly dying.
Right. But at this point, the buildup is so much that they just want to get to it. Like, imagine somebody holding a gun to your head and being like, I'm going to shoot you.
And then you just have to wait there.
And you just have to wait. You'd be like, do it.
Either do it or don't do it.
Do it or don't do it. And then he's like, I'm going to do it right now. Wait, never mind. I'm going to postpone it.
I get it.
Maybe tomorrow. And you just be like, it drives you absolutely insane. You just want to go get in it, or just don't.
Right.
But something needs to happen. That middle ground is one of the worst limbo places you could possibly be. And that's why they're showing all their faces just like demoralized.
Right.
Because it's like, either send us off to our desk to let us go make this happen, or leave us alone. Stop telling us, get ready. I mean, they're all suited up.
Right.
You know, it takes hours to get all your airborne equipment, to get your face paint, to get everything ready to go, to get your adrenaline down, to just be like mentally prepared, and then to be like, psych.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal. And then you have to go through that again tomorrow, and then potentially be told psych again tomorrow because the weather's not right for a jump.
That's crazy.
So it's just it's psychological torture.
Take you to war in your condition. Now, thanks to these men and their infractions, every man in the company who had a weekend pass has lost it.
Hey, Connie, what are you thinking of? Flies in your pants. Shut up, Lon, all right? He gave to everybody. Yeah, well, you should know better. Don't give him no excuses. Excuses? Why don't you come here, look at these trousers, get down, and you tell me if there's a crease on. All right, let's go on the road.
All right, pause it.
Formation, let's move.
So Bacante, the guy telling him like, oh, why don't you not give him any excuses? It pisses me off because we had a guy in my police academy that did that. It's like, oh, come on, guys, get together. What are you doing? And they start the infighting. But it's like, come on, man. You need to understand how this game works. You're not going to win. They're always going to find something when the leadership is taking that approach to beat you down. There's always going to be something. You can't win. So whether you're going into a police academy or they're going to the military, never start taking these corrections that cause punishments as serious unless the dude is like or the person is seriously messed up and are like blatantly just breaking the rules. They're just looking for anything, any excuse, and they're going to find it no matter what. You can't win. And I had this guy in the police academy. He's like, come on, guys, fix your... I'm like, dude, don't do that. Don't start starting the infighting and getting people bickering at each other. This is how it goes. They find little infractions as an excuse to tear us down and get us to, you know, like conform to their idea of how we should be acting and to break us down mentally. It's just part of the game.
Right.
Like if I'm going to put you through any kind of serious selection process, I'm not just going to let you skate through and be perfect. What do you learn from that?
Right.
I'm going to find anything, even if I can't find anything because you're that good, I'll make something up. Right. I'm going to beat you down. And I'm going to find some reason to where it's your fault. I'm not going to walk up to you and be like, you're perfect. I'm going to beat you down just because.
Right.
I have to have an excuse. So I will fabricate an excuse to beat your down.
Right.
And so, but you could always kind of pick apart people that don't understand the concept and the principle of that, because then they'll start infighting, thinking that if we just got our together, we wouldn't get it picked on.
Yeah.
No,
makes sense.
No, you're going to get picked on because that's the problem. And this particular individual was MARSOC. So it pissed me off even more that he was like causing this infighting. And I was like, dude, you're special operations. You know that this is just how selection processes go. Then come to find out, and I don't mean to talk about the guy. I don't mean to be a... But certain MARSOC people were grandfathered in and didn't have to go through selection. So when I'm telling him, oh, you know this.
He doesn't know it.
He doesn't know it. He was grandfathered into MARSOC because he was already in that unit. So he didn't have to go through a selection. Because in selection, you learn that you fail together regardless of what you do, and then you get beat up together as a unit, and you use it to bond together.
Right.
You know, and to form those bonds.
Okay.
You're not going to win. It's not like there's going to be an easy police academy class that never gets smoked because they did everything right, or an easy selection class because everyone's perfect.
Right.
It's just, what training would that do?
Right.
You know, you're not doing any justice to those guys.
And I have to ask this question because my cousin's here, and I've known him for a very long time too. And me and your brother said this before. I drove you to your, you know, like when you went back to the recruiting office and you were leaving. And I remember us looking at each other. He's like, you know, for a guy who can't stand being told what to do, he's making an odd choice to go do something. And we've seen so many movies now that give us this basic, you're like going through basic and that first like process where you're in these bunks, you're with these people, you're being yelled at, you're in an unfamiliar place, a very cold, brutal place, and you're having to deal with this stuff, which to me, I don't have a problem admitting that I've always had a pretty comfortable life, right? My parents gave me a very comfortable upbringing, and I would think of a place like that and just, I can feel the cold nature of it without even having to be there. So I'm wondering what compels you to go there, knowing what you're in for, and what compels you to stay there once you're there, once you feel the cold nature of the fact that no one that you know is around, the comfort is gone, and you're on your own. And you have to deal with people screaming at you, and it's never enough. Like, how do you deal with that?
So because of the way I grew up, like not having a dad, my mom being on drugs and alcohol, not having any structure, not having good role models that are active in my life, I didn't see it as somebody telling me what to do and somebody trying to put me in a box. I saw it as rules and guidelines that were there for a reason. So for me, it felt like a positive thing because I'm like, I just felt like I could read everything for what it was. I see this drill sergeant walking by telling him to do push-ups. He's ate the he should do push-ups. And then he comes to me and says, your bed looks like and I look at my bed, I'm like, yep. Because I don't know how to fold the bed. So it looks like so he's like, do push-ups. I'm like, yep, that makes sense. So to me, I could just read the intent of the drill sergeants and I don't know, I think when you grow up rough, you start to read almost like a unwritten language, like an unspoken language. You could almost read vibes of people. So you read people's intentions a little more, and I think that's a survival instinct because it's like, hey, I have to know your intentions because you're my mom's 10th boyfriend in the past 5 years.
Right.
What are your intentions here? Are your intentions to rape and molest and beat us?
Right.
I need to know that because I'm not going to be victimized by you.
Okay.
So like you start to read people's heart intentions that it puts out, the wavelengths that it puts out. And I walked into basic and I'm looking at these drill sergeants being hard.
Right.
And it was terrifying,
right.
But I could see their heart intentions.
Right.
And that heart vibe is putting out that they care about you. They want you to get it right. They want you to learn. They're trying to teach you. They're trying to mold you into a better human. So all these like subtext intentions that they were putting off to me were very obvious. As to where somebody else sees it and is like, that guy's he's trying to make me do push-ups. I read it as, this guy's trying to get me to conform to a position of better power and authority and respect in my life. He's trying to help me. So it felt good to me to have people that cared enough to smoke a complete stranger and put that effort into me.
Gotcha.
Because no one else in my life was giving me that effort.
I thought I'd see the day, Private Wayne. We are coming on 23 minutes. That may be good enough for the rest of the 506, but that is not good enough for Easy Company.
All right, pause. So this guy is clearly a total, right? But this is the crazy part about this first episode that I really, really liked, is because for the first majority of it, he's a genius. He's an absolute genius. The way that he's crushing these guys, he's being an to them. He's essentially creating, he's giving them a common enemy, which is him.
Right.
So then they all bond together to hate him. That's genius. And then it starts to get recognized and he starts to get promoted because and looked at as like, oh, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. The split comes in why he's doing it. Is he being an and treating them like in order to create that bond and make them a better fighting force? Or is he trying to do it to make himself look good and to further his career?
Mm-hmm.
So same actions, but his intentions mean everything. Why are you doing this? So when I first watched the first half, I was like, this guy's a genius. He's doing exactly what probably I would do if I was in that ultimate leadership position, knowing that we were going to go into combat and knowing I'm going to lose my men.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather just be their enemy and have them bond together knowing that they just hate me in training. And then in war, we could be boys and we can move on and do what we got to do.
Right.
But I have to make you guys more elite, the most elite unit as possible for your survival. But if you're doing it for them to survive, your heart's in the right place, and eventually you will grow to love them, and then they'll realize that you did it out of love.
Right.
But on the other hand, if you're just trying to get promoted and prove that you're the best and you're the smartest leader and the one with the best tactics,
mm-hmm.
then your heart's not in the right place. You will never create that bond with them, and you're actually just a piece of
right.
So same actions, your intentions mean everything.
Right. Same actions, same reactions. Right.
Yes.
So same result.
Right. Same result.
A closer, tight knit team.
Mm-hmm.
But your intentions mean everything.
Your intentions mean everything. And I thought he was going down the path of he just really cares about him, and eventually he would come back to supporting them and being there for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then instead he just veers way off into his own career, and they make him this giant.
Mm. Did you ever watch Friends?
Yeah.
Am I the only one who cannot unsee Schwimmer as the same guy that is in Friends? Because I've seen, now granted, I haven't seen this. I have not watched Band of Brothers. I'll give you that.
You didn't watch this episode?
No, I told you. I watched like certain movies, but I didn't watch this episode. But now that I see him in this role, I can't unsee the guy from Friends.
He's so good in this role, though, that he really does break you away from Friends.
Okay, well, I got to watch it.
He does that good of a job. You end up hating him.
Oh, it looks like me. Oh, support ya.
Easy Company has the finest performance record in the entire 2nd Battalion.
So that's the mindset. That's exactly. We're still in this phase of, is this guy a genius?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's getting promoted to captain, but that could just be a result of what he's trying to do, which is to form a bond with these men. So he punishes one guy, tells him to go run the hill, and now all of a sudden other guys are joining him. And that's because you don't let someone do anything alone in the military.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to run a hill, then we could all suffer together. And then imagine being that guy that's running the hill where it's like, I have this whole hill I got to run. It's going to suck. And then all of a sudden, these guys show up that don't have to be there, and they start running it with me. Now all of a sudden, it's not just me sucking it for the sake of doing it. It's like now we're bonding, we're sharing this, and it becomes this fun experience.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, but those guys have to decide. I don't want to run with the hill with them.
Right.
I don't have to run the hill with them, but the right thing to do is to run the hill with them. And so there's always those two paths. And if you want to go special operations, you're not going to make it if you ever don't choose the right path over what you want to do.
Yeah.
And that's all special operations is about. And that's all selection is about, is finding the guy and girl now that when they're faced with the right path and I don't have to do it, who's going to choose to do the right thing?
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of how much extra pain it's going to put them in. You need to choose the right path over the pain. And right now, everyone would be like, of course I would do that. Of course I would do that. Yeah, until it's a mile up a sandy hill and you can go sit down and eat chow and chill and rest your feet and not do anything, get some extra sleep so the next day you can be more prepared. And now all of a sudden you're faced with that mile hill. It becomes a lot tougher of a decision.
Mm-hmm.
But if you still have that intestinal fortitude to be like, this sucks, I don't want to do it, but it's the right thing to do, and you go do it, that's the kind of person that special operations look for.
You're a Watch out, Private Hoover! We should pipe up those ears and go home! Looks like Gordon, son! Aren't you, Gordon? You finished?
We never let up. We always did last.
All right, pause.
What's this flabbergast?
So they had him. He said they're gonna get a day off, so he gets to eat all the spaghetti they want. So they're just crushing spaghetti, trying to regain calories from just getting smoked all the time. So then he lies and then has them run, so they end up puking all the spaghetti out. But then as they start to sing cadence and come together as a unit, he leaves with. It's just great acting. You don't know if he's proud or pissed. So is he proud that he's bringing them together as a unit and they're starting to find the cohesion and use cadence to like get through this horrible experience? I was choosing to think that he's proud, and this is where I was like, he's a genius. He's doing all this on purpose to make them grow together. And then the show just takes it the other way and sends them completely to the left.
Well, the face that he gives is pretty ambiguous. You can't tell if he's proud or if he's not. He's just like surprised.
He's surprised.
I just don't know which way he's leaning.
I was hoping, I guess, for the fact that he was proud. And that, in my opinion, I think that's why cadence is so powerful, is because it's a unity. When you start singing together and you sing past the pain, like you're tired, you can't breathe, and you're willing to sing, it's like defying your body's feelings and emotions and discomfort. And you're saying, I'm going to do something that you do when you're happy and excited and in a good mood, regardless of all the pain and suffering I'm going through.
Sure.
So it's this psychological win it's a psychological warfare that you're playing on yourself to sing cadence in a time of pain and discomfort. And that's what they did when they were puking.
I get that.
I just really wish that, I guess it wouldn't build the show up to what it was, but I really wish he was just doing it on purpose. I wish he was just doing it on purpose, and he passed off the platoon to the lieutenant instead of going the direction of making him I wish he was just like, hey, I got promoted. I brought him together. You're the one that's going to have to take him into war. I'm passing off the baton to you. I've done everything I can. You guys have united over your hatred for me, but they like you. Now take them to war and make them survive. That's how I would have wanted the show to go. But instead, they chose probably a more realistic view of most officers, in that they could be total douchebags and career hunters, and all they care about is their next rank.
Right. So real life still applies.
Yeah.
We're in the wrong position.
That's every one of you guys in the future that are going special forces.
Ambush, sir. We should sit tight. Let the enemy team come into our killing zone.
They're right up there somewhere. Let's just get them.
Sir, we have perfect cover here.
Lieutenant, deploy your troops.
Signal 2. Move out.
So a couple things here. This is Camp McCall and doing small unit tactics. So all you guys going special forces, you're going to Camp McCall, and you're going to be doing the same, setting up ambushes and moving through the woods just like this. This is exactly what you're going to be doing. So I don't know if you picked up on it, but obviously they had a perfect ambush position, and they set it up. It's money. All they had to do was wait. And then the captain's like, they're over there. Let's go get them. And he's like, wow, why? That's stupid. And they end up all getting killed.
Why did it say he was in the wrong place?
So he thought he was lost. So panic starts to set in. And again, that's going to happen to all you candidates. You start second guessing yourself. Because a lot of time you're doing terrain association. So you're like, this should be the draw that we're in, but you don't know for sure. And maybe the draw isn't quite as grown in as it used to be. So you can't like 100% say, this is our draw. So you say, I think this is our draw. And you get yourself in that dug in position. And when it's about time to execute, you start really second guessing yourself. And you're like, is this the draw? Is it a draw over there? Did I miss it? Did we make the wrong turn? And all of a sudden you start to feel this overwhelming sense of being lost, and like the world's kind of caving in on you. And that's why land nav is so important in selection, because once the self-doubt starts setting in and the feeling of being lost and not knowing where you are and hitting the wrong objective and not finding your points, panic really starts to set in, and it separates people who are able to get that under control and just go off the data that they had and they accumulated through their movement, and those who just go in full out panic mode.
Right.
And sometimes it's like the captain did here. It's easier to go into panic mode and say, I'm going to do this, and just make up a plan instead of having some patience and kind of letting it play out.
Right.
So, and another important thing is I've had this situation where I was in, was it Robin Sage, and we had a movement, and I didn't know if we're in the right position or not. And my buddy, who like kind of like the lieutenant in this one, was like, I'm pretty sure this is it, dude. We need to just wait and see before we initiate. And I was so panicked that I just wanted to change the plan and like chase that panic. It's almost like you want to chase the panic. Like as though you're going to outrun the panic and find your way again. And I chose to listen to him because I knew that he wasn't in a leadership position, which meant he had less stress on him, which meant he was probably thinking more clearly than I was. So I chose to trust him, and he ended up being right. We assaulted the objective perfectly, and then the cadre started giving me all the credit. Hey, man, good job, good decision, everything went great. And it's like, if it wasn't for this guy having a cool, calm, and collected head about him, I would have completely changed the plan, and this would be a completely different conversation right now. But he tries to use his rank and just his lieutenant down,
Right.
and it ends up getting the whole platoon killed. And even though it's training, it's very, very serious because that training operation will dictate how well you perform and which mission you get when you go out on operation. So if you mess up training, like in a pre-deployment training, if you mess that up, your command says, nah, they suck. What's the best mission? It's this one. Nah, I give it to that team instead.
Right.
So these things are very, very serious. It's not just all, a big play and then you're just playing and going home and then you get the same mission regardless.
Right.
I'm reassigning you to Chilton Foley.
I'm losing Easy Company?
War effort needs you elsewhere.
Permission to speak, sir.
Granted.
This pisses me off because this is so accurate to the Army. When higher ranking individuals get fired, they just get promoted away. That's the Army's answer to officers and to high ranking NCOs. You don't ever get fired. You get moved. So that way they don't have to deal with the repercussions of you being upset or hurting your feelings. It's like everyone in the bottom, all the privates, the specialists, you get fired, canned, Article 15, you get your, just the Army just slaps its big on your forehead and make you walk around with the stamp 24/7. They treat you like staff duty, just the worst, right? On the lower enlisted. But as soon as you make rank and you're one of the higher echelon, when you get fired because you're a piece of shit, they say, hey man, this is a promotion. And technically on paper, they get promoted. He's getting demoted in the sense that he's not going to combat with his men, which is embarrassing. And everyone in his circle knows that that's not a good thing. Yeah. Because you want to place your best in combat situations where boots are on the ground, it really matters. But on paper, he's still getting promoted. So he's still being fast-tracked to the next higher ranks.
So they're taking the Catholic priest approach?
Yeah, just move them to a different church.
Right, yeah.
And that's exactly what they do with these. And it's like, this guy's clearly, his intentions were found that he's... So what do? We promote him away. He's no longer our problem. I've had plenty of people that I've seen in the military that should be just straight up fired and put on desks that it should be obviously being fired, and they're just promoted away. And it's like on paper they're getting a promotion.
Now they're just somebody else's problem somewhere else.
Exactly. That's exactly what they do. It's just someone else's problem, move them along, kick them down. As a matter of fact, shine it up the turd a little bit, make it look like a promotion on paper so at the end of the day, they still win. And it's such a bad show and such a great first episode. It comes in so hot. But for this last one, it's like, it seems like they're sending them out like lambs to the slaughter. Mm-hmm. And it seems like you're just going to send them to die. But there's one difference, is that the training. Mm-hmm. These men have trained hard to go do this. So in their minds, they're not like marching off to their deaths. They have a plan of action. They have training that supports what they're going to do. They know that when this happens, I need to do this. Like the training separates certain death from potentially winning the war and coming home and continuing their lives. Mm-hmm. So even though in the movies sometimes they make it seem like it's just like, ha, see you later, cannon fodder. Right. Good luck getting schwacked. It's like, it's not that, because of the training and the hard work. And it's like, what's that saying? Like, the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war.
Sounds right.
So that's what you're saying, is like, these men, every minute they put in sweating, training, beating each other up, getting beat up, was in preparation for this. So their minds are right and their bodies are right and their hearts are in the right place.
Sure.
So we're not just like going off to get executed, like, we have a chance, and we're going to use that training to try and win. All right, if you made it this far, thank you so much. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Check us out at the FNGacademy.com. Sign up for that mentor program, because we're helping you achieve your dreams, whether you're a civilian or military. It doesn't matter. We're using that SF mindset to help you further your education, further your mindset, and achieve the things that you want to achieve. So check out the mentor program and let us use our experiences to help you achieve your dreams. We've already kind of reached the end. We're just going to get shoved off the edge of the boat soon. It's time to
just gonna
walk the plank.
Drink and watch movies now. So
yeah, we're kind of just a hindrance on society at this point.
That's why I got them in my house, so you guys don't have to deal with them.
So if we can help you, help me, help you, so I could justify my existence, please, that would be great. See ya.
Bye.